ioEther. I got this.
Hey folks, it's ioEther and we're back with some more World of Tanks. So as you can see, this is a tier 10 game and this is on mines. I'm gonna try very hard not to rant about that. But anyways, so as you can see, this is a new place. If you haven't seen the new place, and I'm sorry for just punching the mic, it was unintentional. I have a better mic somewhere in one of the many boxes over there that I have not unpacked yet. Because that's just how that goes, right? But anyways, of course, this is a tier 10 game. This is a Merker in his T110E3. I'm not certain I've ever featured an E3 before, but I definitely will this game. And so he's got 10 AP, 10 gold, and 3 HE. And for a sec there, I thought he was going to fire into his Object 140. Now he is scoped in maybe a little more than I would prefer him to be, because of you know, just the nature of you know, not being able to see anything except for this little time. If he was out one more click of the scroll wheel, then he'd be able to see a much better picture of the overall battle on the hill, and then he could scope in to hit his individual targets. But anyways, as always, before we get started, please hit that like button if you enjoy this. Please also waiting to see if any of these guys roll out to get themselves smacked. Anyways, please hit the like button if you enjoy this. Please also tell your friends about that bit of pain. And then he also got shot right after that. Unfortunately though, we lost vision of him. It looks like somebody took his tracks off. I don't know if that was us or the other. Good lord. Yeah, I don't know who actually took his tracks off, us or the T30, but that E75 is not in his happy place right now, because there is very little left of him right there. Yeah. Oof, that looked like it hurt. Anyways, and you can also visit my Patreon page if you want to support the channel. This is a great way to do so. Looks like we're not going to get a shot at that Skoda T. We're just going to have to wait and see if somebody is dumb enough to poke their head out again. Now we only have a T57 Heavy guarding the hill, so I guess it looks like Merker is going to go and push forward. There is artillery on the other team. Both teams, in fact, do have artillery. So if he's not careful, he's going to get himself smacked in the face. The Moss on the other team can definitely stand up against him, as can what's the other one? The E5. I forgot what was over there, but yeah, there's an E5 up there and a Moss. Both of those guys can actually stand against him. If not for long, they can definitely do it for a short period of time. Now our T10 broke through somewhere, probably in the town, and then got himself shot in the face by a J-Panther E100. Ooh, yeah. Side shot into an E5. Goes through almost every time, especially at this tier, especially with this gun. Hey look guys, this replay works. As I have just noticed the fact that we have not done 200,000 damage in this game. And we can see the consumables at the bottom, or there we go. And for anybody who does not know what you're talking about, what I'm talking about, go and look at yesterday's video and you'll know what I'm talking about. Ooh, as the Conqueror. Okay, so the Conqueror decided he didn't want to get shot, so he straightened his tank out, and then he promptly unstraightened his tank so that we could shoot him. It was really nice of him, actually. Now the already did drop a shell on us, but obviously it didn't do a whole ton to us except blow our tracks off. And the Conqueror just stayed in a spot that we could definitely hit him, so Merker shot him again. There's no point in not shooting him again. And it killed him because he was still over angled. Now that's a J-Panther E100 that just bounced off us, and this Moss is trying to bait us into firing. so he can pop out and do something to us. But we're not going to shoot, and so he pops out after we're not aimed. And where did he put a shell through? That was the bottom of our hull. It was a really well placed shot, and of course now the Moss is trying to do the same trick again. And is Merker going to put a shell through where I think he's going to put a shell through? He does. Nope, it bounces, and then he bounces return fire. If he does that with an APCR shell, which is what he's loading in a second here, he will go through. If he can hit the flat turret face of the Moss without hitting the gun mantle, he'll be fine. Jagzilla must not realize he's able to get shot right there as he goes ahead and gives us his side. Unfortunately for us, we're not able to do anything with that as the shot bounces off. It was most likely the spaced armor just above his tracks. I do not recommend blind firing at the front of a Jagzilla, as it's a great way to do absolutely nothing and cost yourself some gold ammo. But now that he does have gold loaded, this Moss is going to have a lot harder time dealing with him. And the fact that he's shooting at the front of a Moss, I'm perfectly fine with him loading gold to do this. It should be noted that he also doesn't actually have any backup right now. His entire team is over there doing everything they can to hold that side against an E3. Look at that, and an E5. Looks like the T30 just smacked the E5 for quite a bit of damage, and that T57 is looking to finish them off. Now, unfortunately, it did not hit the J Panther in such a way that he was out of pen. He just blew his tracks off, which is very, very saddening and unfortunate for him. Moss has moved, and because the Moss has moved, we can push forward. We can get a better shot on some people. Looks like we're probably going to actually scoot on over here now that we're not lit. Though I'm sure that the Jagzilla will let us here in a few seconds. It will hopefully be too late for it to get a decent shot on us, and it is. We are able to get into cover and have a shot on the Moss. I saw the Moss just outline there for a second, though apparently it's not still going to be there. We just got lit. Yep, the Jagzilla's not pointing this way though, and so we're able to get down into the dip. Good job. And now he's got shots on the Moss, and the Moss, the only thing that you can see is the top of our turret. Well, the top of our superstructure, sorry. And so Merker puts a shot through the side of the Moss. The Moss is now advancing on us, trying desperately to get into a position where he can do some good. But as long as Merker can see the right parts, in this case, he's looking for either between the tracks, or he's looking for the Moss to over angle like that, and then he puts a shot through him. He's also got that must have been the T57 heavy in combination with something else that did 600 damage. Incredibly certain T57 heavy by itself cannot do 600 damage. Unfortunately, our shot into the top of the Moss only blows off his observation device, and this and then thankfully we only get tracked in return, though and then the Jagzilla blows off our other track. Wow, that's that Jagzilla has got to be pissed off. Firing at the side / back of an E3 and a Jagzilla and only blowing his tracks off. And then he gets tracked in place, and then unfortunately the Object 148 kills the Jagzilla before we can. Sad face. But the Moss goes down to the T57 heavy, and now there's only a couple enemies left. We know one of them is on the far side of the map. Artillery gets killed. Skoda looks like he's probably going to end up doing with our T57 heavy, which is exactly what Merker looks at. I don't know who's winning or losing that fight, but the VKB is going to put. I would have kept swinging around. Yeah. Oh, he looks like he's going to stay here long enough for us to get a beautiful shot into his side, and that is going to be the end of the game for us. The likelihood of us getting a shot on the Skoda is very, very small. I do have to say this was a beautifully played game, And this, by the way, if you ever manage to find yourself in an E3, is exactly how you should be playing it. Sniping at the start of the game, Merker sat back here and did what he could to help hold that line. As soon as he realized that line was not going to be held, and everyone else was pushing over to hold this line, he didn't sit back here and wait and have his team spot for him. No, he knows he has the strongest armor on his team. Period. He has the strongest armor on his team, minus, of course, the other E3 and the VK502B, actually. Come think about it. But those two were both over here. So he had the strongest armor on this flank on his team. He needed to be up there. He needed to be in that fight, and he was. And he pulled a lot of fire. Specifically, about 4,600 damage worth of fire. That's not even counting the ones that just tracked him towards him. After pulling that much damage, he manages to spot some, but mostly he's returning fire with his own gun. And with a gun this big, returning fire means you're killing enemies. This was a really, really well played and exactly as aggressive as he needed to be. As soon as he realized that the Moss had abandoned this position, he pushed forward up to the rock, where he could put flanking fire into the Moss. Yes, he didn't get much flanking fire into the Moss because the Moss was so far back along here that there was just nothing for him to shoot at. But he then took the opportunity to move up again, putting himself in a much better flanking position. At that point in time, the Moss realized he was screwed, and he rushed him. Now, it didn't work out that way, but that's basically what the Moss was doing. He realized he couldn't stay here. He needed to get to this side, so he rushed past us. He took enough fire in the process that he was pretty much dead, or just about dead, by the time he got to the spot he wanted to be in. And that beautiful, beautiful play. Thank you so much, Merker, for saying this in. This is exactly what I wanted to see from this game. Mastery Badge First Class, Spotter, Bruiser, Shellproof, and Fire for Effect. This was well played. He, of course, manages to pull out a steel wall. And look at that. These two were actually working together really well because they're in the same platoon. I'm going to bet they're in... same clan. I'm going to bet they're in the same platoon as well. And that's why they were working in tandem so well. They're probably in comms with each other. Good at that. That's beautiful. Well played, sir. Were they in fact in a platoon number 2 and number 2? Yep. So even though the Moss survived the longest, he didn't do that much damage and thus didn't help his team all that much. Whereas the Type 4 Heavy, who died pretty early on in this game, as far as the, I guess about the middle of the game, did enough that he's top of his board. So just because you die does not mean you're not good for your team, as long as you get some damage done. But those who do a ton of damage and survive get well in excess on experience. Look at that. He's what, second? He's barely third, but that's of course because the AMX CDC is tier 8 and he's fighting in a tier 10 game, so he got a ton of experience for that. That was well played overall, and just a joy to watch that game happen. 14 shells fired and everything hit except for one, and the one I don't even when did he miss? I don't remember him firing a shot that missed, but obviously he did. And most of them penned and did a tremendous amount of damage. Good job, good sir. This was well played and justly deserved. Thank you so much, Merker, for sending this in. Thank you all for watching. Please do hit that like button if you've enjoyed this. It helps me out in the YouTube ratings quite a bit more than you might realize. Please also tell your friends about the channel. The best way for the channel to grow is for you guys to tell your friends and then to send me videos, and everybody gets to be happy and bragging rights all around, right? And then of course, if you want to support the next feature game on the channel or the channel itself or anything like that, then head on over to Patreon, and that is where you and I can decide the next feature game that will cost you $1 if you want in on that, because that is the lowest price I can set on Patreon. So thank you all for watching. Have a great night. This is ioEther out.